everyone, this is Locke Outdoors. I got a short video for you today, and I figured it would be good practice and a good lesson to learn for everyone. I often see and I watch a lot of different individuals on the internet. Many talented, skilled outdoorsmen, bushcrafters, survivalists. There is a plethora of great content creators out there. But some of the times I see, they make it look so easy sometimes. And you know, for a skilled person, they can certainly have the benefits and they can take advantage of the situation to make it look ridiculously easy. Now, today, I'm going to show you what it's like to create a fire, and I'm going to try to do it all in one take. Because I know that for many of us out there, when we go to light a fire, is not as easy as throwing a pile of tinder down, getting one strike on the ferro rod, and the next image is a massive fire. It's not always that easy. Now, I'm no expert, but I'm someone who can build a fire. And I'm going to invite you to join me on the process on how I do it. And hopefully, in the span of this episode, you'll see what it's like to build a fire, especially here in the damp, wet weather of Newfoundland and Labrador. Stay tuned. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather my materials for creating a fire. One of the things you really want to remember is that if you think you have enough, grab more. That is a key element to building a successful fire, to cook, to stay warm, to survive. Okay, so let's go around and I'll gather some wood. All right, so you're in the outdoors. You can see there's trees and stuff all around me. Okay, and this stuff is wet. It rained heavily for the last several days, and the ground is really wet. So all that very dry kindling is not so dry anymore. So we got to try to pick up stuff that's going to burn and catch with minimal fuel. So what I'm looking for are bits of fir or spruce, the twigs, the little small twigs. Even that stuff, see that? Try to get the focus. Even that may be a little bit too big, but I want to gather very fine bits of twigs, and that's going to be my kindling. And once I get that done, then I'm going to grab the next. Okay, so here's a little bit of advice. A lot of people say grab the lichen and the moss and all that stuff. And yeah, it's a good idea when it's dry. But if it's been raining, that stuff soaks up so much moisture. And you need a lot of fuel and a lot of heat to get that stuff to ignite. So you want to avoid using this stuff initially. All right, we're going to try to get some small twigs. Now here is an example. See this here is fir. So these little small twigs right here, I'm going to crack and get a whole handful of this stuff. And this stuff here will catch and burn very quickly. And I'm going to get a whole lot because I need a whole lot. Okay, so let's check it out. So does this look like enough? No, it's not. You want at least more. At least more. Never pick the bare minimums. Always have more. So what you want to have a good indication of what you're looking for is good. You want to find and listen for the dry snap when you go to break it off. So let's try this out. Those dry little snaps are good indications of what you're collecting is dry. So give that a shot. Keep filling up your pockets. You want more. So once you think you have enough, and then you decide to go back and get more, once you get that amount done, Well, then what you want to do, you want to look for a little bit bigger stuff, because the way fire works when you're making fires, you got to build small and work your way up, and that goes for the size of what you're burning. So get small twigs. That creates a big open flame, or sorry, an open flame that generates more, burns more, and the flames get bigger. Once the flames get big enough and hot enough, you can start using bigger material to burn. Now, the thing is about this stuff, once there's enough heat burning this stuff, all the sap and resin that's inside ignites, and this stuff burns really well. But it just doesn't ignite until you have enough flame. So that's why it's so important to get your initial fire hot and burn long enough to ignite this. And once this ignites, you're almost golden. So after collecting all your tinder, you need to collect your kindling. Now, I know already in my video that I said kindling earlier, and I'm not editing anything. So the mistakes I make, I'll try to correct as I go. So leave a comment if you notice anything else that I screwed up. But once you have your tinder collected, you want to collect kindling. Now, kindling is bigger stuff. This is the stuff that generates more heat that you're going to use before you actually throw on your larger logs or source of fuel. So, for example, see this tree? This branch is dead. Many of all these lower branches are dead and they're dry. But they won't burn if you'll put a match to it. You need to have enough heat. So, once my tinder gets lit, I'm going to start throwing this stuff on in small pieces, and this will slowly burn and get larger. Pressure's on me now. Okay, so I'm at my old fire pit, and what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get some sticks, and I'm going to lay down here and make a fire bed. That way, it's not laying directly on the damp ground, so it will also increase the chances of my fire being successful. So I'm going to fill up some that area with some dry sticks now, just to build my fire on top. Now, my next thing is I need to collect the type of tinder that I'm going to use to actually create the fire with, to get that initial flame. So what I'm going to be looking for, I'm using all natural materials other than what I'm going to use to create the spark. And I'm going to be using my flint and steel to create the ember, and then from there I'm going to try and build the flame. So what I need to do is collect pine sap, spruce sap, fir sap, any type of tree resin, and I'm going to make myself the most flammable substance I can to create that initial spark. So let's watch. So using this old piece of cedar board I used for cooking on one time, I'm going to collect all the sap and resin onto this. That way I'm going to spread it all out and I can have a nice good base to make the fire starter. Okay? So this is a fir tree, I do believe, and it's covered in blisters. So I'm going to pop the blisters and get the resin. So I'm going to collect a lot of that. I'm going to spread it onto this board. There. Doesn't look like much now, but it'll be a lot in a bit. Okay, so I went around and I collected. See if I can get this. See that? All that ooey gooey sap and resin. Now, everyone talks about fat wood. Well, this is what's in the fat wood. This is what makes the fat wood burn. It's the resin that gets into the stick and soaks down into it. So this is the surface stuff, and you can collect this stuff off of any, like fir tree or pine tree or spruce tree, and it works really well. So you want to collect as much of that as you can. I think I got enough to do what I want to do. So next is I'm going to get myself a tinder bundle to go on this to catch a spark. Yikes. Okay, so I'm using my Sparrow Striker from Sparrow Bushcraft. Great guy, go check him out on Instagram. It's the only bit of kit I got from someone on Instagram, and it works really, really well. Okay, so this is the start of the video. I got one camera going over just behind me here now, and I have my tinder, my little fire bundle here that I'm going to start, and I got all my kindling, and we are going to go from scratch starting a fire, and we'll see how successful I am and how long it actually takes me. Now, it takes about 5 to 10 minutes to prep your gear, and I can't stress it enough. Prep your fire, because if you don't have enough starting off and your fire goes out, that may be the only initial stuff that you have that's good enough to get the fire started. So you want to make sure that you're ready. So let's see how this goes. Now, I'm using flint and steel because I'm trying to get good at this stuff. I can easily use a match or a lighter, but I want to practice getting out of the comfort zones. So let's see how this goes. First strike, that's a good sign. Now immediately put your tinder box away, or your char cloth away. Don't want to lose it. Not looking good. I screwed it up right at the very beginning, and I should have stopped and fixed it, but I didn't. I thought I had it. Don't be deterred. Don't give up. Look at that. It burned right through, it didn't catch. Yeah, anyone able to tell me what my mistake was? Because I know what it was. Okay, let's do this again. Ha ha ha! Flame! Woo. Now, I gotta get this going. So, did you guys catch what my mistake was? The mistake at that time was not because of what I used to start my fire lay or my kindling or my tinder. That wasn't the mistake. The mistake was actually with the char cloth. Not taking into account, I'm always using little bits of char cloth, and I never ever use enough initially. You want to use a fairly substantial size, for me anyway, to get enough heat to generate to ignite. I had to use several pieces. The first time I blew on it and it burned out too quick before it had a chance to ignite. So I realized very quickly that I got to keep using the char cloth, enough char cloth to generate enough, that ember, large enough to catch the surrounding stuff. And once it caught, that's it. Anyway, this is Locke Outdoors. Thanks for watching me start a fire. It doesn't always happen in the first 30 seconds of a video. Believe me. Stay safe. Take care.